Hi there. I wanted to talk about this thing called the law of attraction that's become popular in New Age and self-help and self-improvement communities and industries. And there was a movie about it called The Secret, which uh, you might have heard of. And also a lot of New Age gurus like Wayne Dyer and Deepak Chopra promote the law of attraction too, which basically states that thoughts create reality and that whatever you think about will manifest. Now, I wanted to make some points about this because the way they present the law of attraction is very inaccurate. Because while it is true that thoughts influence reality, these people make it as though thoughts were all powerful, and that's not true. Um, for example, I mean, positive thinking helps you um, to do things. For example, it helps you to do things better. For example, um, but but there's a limit as to what it can do. For example, with my thoughts, I can't pass through solid walls or fly or move mountains. I mean, nobody can demonstrate that you can do that with your thoughts. I mean, maybe in theory it's possible, some people say, but no one's able to demonstrate that. So there are limitations on the thoughts creating reality thing and the law of attraction. I mean, there are limits, but the problem is these New Age gurus and this film called The Secret does not they do not define these limitations. They talk about it like it's all some all powerful thing, and it's not. I mean, that gives a false view of this principle of thoughts creating reality. Um, and maybe they do that to sell books and to sell that film. Who knows? But it's very, very inaccurate. And for example, I mean, when the Titanic first sailed out, everyone thought it was unsinkable. So why didn't those thoughts become reality? They didn't, because the Titanic sunk. So even though everyone thought it was unsinkable, those collective thoughts did not manifest into reality. So obviously this principle is not all powerful, even though the New Age gurus make it sound like it is. And that's the flaw. That's their limitation. They do not define the limitations on that. And likewise, I mean, they say that whatever you fear comes to pass. That is also true to a certain degree. For example, if I'm making a shot in billiards and I have a doubt and I'm not sure whether I can make the shot, the doubt in that doubt is going to mess up my shot most of the time. When you play pool, you have to eliminate the doubts, otherwise, it's going to mess up your shot. That's an influence of how. I mean, that's an example of how fear can mess you up and how it can lead, how it can influence your results. But I mean, if I watch a horror movie, for example, and I'm afraid that the boogeyman is going to get me at night, that thought is not going to manifest into reality. The boogeyman is not going to come and eat me just because I'm afraid of him and can't sleep at night. I mean, when I was a little kid and I watched this movie called Poltergeist, and it was really scary, and I thought, and then later that night I kept thinking that all those things that I saw in the movie were going to happen to me, and so I couldn't sleep. But of course they didn't happen to me because fears do not always manifest into reality either. I mean, we've all had situations, for example, where we were really worried and anxious about something, and then it turned out to be no big deal. I mean, it turned out our fears were just, in our imaginations. And likewise, we've all had cases or experiences where we had really high hopes and optimistic feelings about something, and we're really excited and enthusiastic and really looking forward to something with confidence, and then it all fell flat and turned out to bomb. It all turned out to be a total disappointment. We've all had those experiences too. So thoughts do not always manifest into reality. I mean, they influence reality, but they're not as powerful as these gurus and this film called The Secret claim. And another negative benefit of this kind of thinking, that thoughts are all powerful, are that they create a victim blaming mentality. So if someone fails, for example, or if something happens to someone that's not their fault, you're going to say, oh, his thoughts must have created it, because thoughts always manifest. So it's that person's fault. And in reality, it's not the person's fault, because we cannot control everything that happens to us. We cannot control exterior circumstances. I mean, we can't control it 100%. There are always factors and situations that are out of our control. That's common sense. Everyone knows that. But to blame everything that happens to someone on them is not realistic, and it's not fair. It's victim blaming. But if you believe too religiously in this law of attraction, you can end up doing that. You can start blaming people for everything that happens to them unjustly. It creates a victim blaming mentality in you. So that's the danger in the law of attraction. And in the sense, that's cruel too. It's unfair, and to blame people for things that they can't help. So sadly, that's an offshoot consequence of believing too much in this law of attraction thing. So with that, I hope that puts things in the proper perspective of the law of attraction and what it can do and what it can't do. That being said, even though you can't control what happens to you, you do have a choice in how you respond to your events. And it's been said that circumstances don't make a man, they reveal him. So it's your choices and your attitude that counts. But and that's important to keep in mind. But don't have this ridiculous notion that all your thoughts manifest into reality. I mean, that's just not true, and that no one can prove that. I mean, that's totally against common sense for the reasons I've just cited. Now, there was a study done for a number of years by the Pear Institute, which is the Princeton Engineering Anomalies Research Institute, where they studied mind over matter, or psychokinesis. And what they found was that thoughts do influence external matter, but only at a microscopic level, not at a big level. So even if you take that as scientific evidence for mind over matter, that still only proves that it's a microscopic effect, not an all-powerful effect like Wayne Dyer, Deepak Chopra, and The Secret promotes. And so in that sense, those New Age gurus are hugely misrepresenting the law of attraction. Okay, so hope you consider that, and next time someone cites the law of attraction as though it were an all-powerful thing, give them the arguments that I just told you about, and give them a dose of reality and common sense. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.